Hello, everyone. Welcome to CloudApp Remote. Thank you for joining us. I am Joe Martin, the head of marketing here at CloudApp. While you're funneling in, go ahead and drop in where you're joining us from in the chat, and we can respond and get to know each other a little bit before we jump in. I am coming from Utah today. Scott, our CEO in California. Everyone, as you're jumping in, help us get to know you a little bit, share where you're coming from. We're excited to have our first ever CloudApp Remote customer event. Thanks for joining us. Miley's here. Thanks, Miley. Former CloudApp employee Miley is joining us, which is awesome. Edmonton, Ohio, Tampa, Centerville. All right, just up the road. Netherlands. Welcome, everyone. As you're coming in, share where you're coming from in the chat. This is our first ever CloudApp Remote event. We'll be going over some product updates, some tips and tricks, and we're excited to have everyone. Oh, also, the default setting on Zoom is to all panelists in the comment. If you want to just click on the arrow and do to everybody, that would be awesome. We'll be starting in just a couple of minutes. Give people a chance to join us. Welcome, everyone funneling in. If you're here at the beginning, you've heard me say this 4 times already, but as you join, go ahead and let us know where you're coming from. And we'll be starting in about 1 minute. People from all over the world joining. It's awesome. Got Europe, the States, Canada. Awesome. Okay, everyone, welcome. Scott, go ahead and kick us off to the next slide. Welcome, everyone, to CloudApp Remote. This is our first ever customer event. We're excited to use this as a platform to announce some really exciting new features that we're excited to share with our community. Also, we'll be going over tips and tricks on how to actually use some of these new features, as well as some things that are frequently asked about. And then I'll be giving a keynote on remote work and kind of share some tips that I've learned over the last year managing remotely and then also in previous roles. So I'm Joe Martin. I am the head of marketing at CloudApp. And I would love to turn the time over to Scott Smith, our CEO. He is going to go through kind of some general session comments and then also share some really exciting news that we have for all of you.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Excited to be here with all of you. So I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to have all of you join this call today. I know we're all looking forward to never talking about 2020 like ever again, but as I thought about where we are with CloudUpp today, I thought that it made sense to look back a little bit and see how far we've come in just the last year or so. So last year was messy, and it's already hard enough to do work with the 100 or so apps that each company on average already uses. But adding in work from home, kids on Zoom calls, like toilet paper shortages, and more seriously, a global pandemic, and even more Slack messages and emails than you could ever want to read. It was a long year for all of us, and we're here today. So we're excited to kind of talk about some of the progress that we've made and some of the ways that we believe we've been helping you, our customers, this past year. So for our team at CloudApp, our mission has always been centered around making work easier for our customers. And last year it became even more important. So if you're using any of those tools I mentioned, Slack, Jira, email, thousands of other apps, we just really want to help you eliminate confusion and miscommunication and basically spend more time on the things that you're best at. Rather than taking more meetings, which we all did last year, lots and lots of them, or trying to painfully explain something with a lot of text, a long email. Instead, you can just send a quick video. You can see here with Savannah. Savannah is a teammate of ours, and she put together this amazing video explaining a new feature just for our team internally. And I didn't really need to do much more than watch the video. She put it together in 90 seconds, and then I could watch it in 45 seconds with the 2x speed feature, which is awesome, and I highly encourage that. But basically, this is how we see building CloudApp for you and for our future. The simplest way to instantly express and share exactly what you're seeing and to have it be natively integrated into the tools that you're already using. But admittedly, we're just really getting started. And this is how we see the future of CloudApp. What started initially off as a simple and fast way to capture and share has now turned into an amazing community of over 4 million people communicating effortlessly and instantly. If you look at the third column here, when we talk about this progression from workflow to workspace to extend basically means to be able to fit CloudApp into your workflow, to go into the tools that you're using and to make your experience in those everyday tools that you're already using even more powerful and easier. So I'm not going to mention them now, but we're really excited to announce later today 2 new integrations. And the last one, when it comes to intelligence, over the last year, we've added a lot of great new features. We've added analytics, in-content interactions like calls to action, web annotations. Yesterday, we actually just released 2 new features there as well, and the ability to intelligently search your data. So just really quick, I want to highlight 3 of our customers. I know it's really great to talk about what we're doing, but I think we like to always reflect on how we're helping you, and maybe you don't even know that we do this. So we thought it would be helpful. So for G2 Crowd is a platform that hosts the world's largest number of software reviews, and G2 uses CloudApp in its sales team. So they show off their product, they connect with their customers and prospective customers with short videos that they've created with CloudApp. And they've been able to create a huge amount of pipeline, increase the number of sales meetings, and basically just save themselves a lot of time every week. Another great company that uses CloudApp is called Gainsight. Gainsight is an incredible customer success platform, and they use CloudApp to answer really tough questions that come in from their customers. And it saves both sides a huge amount of time. And as you can imagine, like when you get your own time saved as a customer trying to figure something out, you just feel really good. So their customers are happy, engaged, and they don't have to spend a lot of time on support. The third customer example that I want to highlight is Cloud Elements. Cloud Elements helps you connect your product to others through integrations. They have over 200. And they found that by including CloudApp videos and annotations in their pull requests, it really helps everyone get on the same page. So, rather than saying like, I have no idea what this new pull request is meant to do, you can see it right there. But, if you're not in the sales or support or product and eng part of the world, we don't want to leave you out, of course. We could probably talk forever about all the different ways you could use CloudApp. But one central theme over the last year that we see happening over and over and over is skipping a meeting and sending a CloudApp video instead. Just replacing these kind of long form ways of communicating with quick, simple links and snippets. And actually, just to kind of like, call out Joe a little bit, earlier this year, we launched a new logo for CloudApp in about 5 days. We had been thinking about it for a while, we had designed it, and finally we decided to just make it happen. So we used CloudApp. We made a quick Slack channel, we put together short videos with CloudApp, and we went from, you know, what's old to now what's new, and it's been really exciting. All right, so you know, just before we get into some of the new updates and product features, we also just wanted to kind of look back at 2020 and talk about how, you know, we saw our product being used and how we heard from our customers that it was helping them. So for example, one thing that was really interesting is as soon as this whole like work from home scenario started, obviously not everyone was working from home, but you know, a huge percentage of our customer base were, and so were the world. We saw that people were working a lot more in the mornings. So, you know, normally you're on the train or in a car listening to your podcast. Instead, you were working. Similarly, late at night, we saw executives and VPs and all these kind of management roles just working longer hours than they basically had ever before. We also saw that video became an even increasingly and more often used feature. So we saw a 4x increase, you know, across the board for our users, where before they might have used, you know, videos a little bit more sparingly, but it now became even more helpful and more useful for them. So I would just say, and I think Joe and I both, you know, hopefully you're not skipping sleep to use CloudApp to get your work done, but we're at least glad to be there to help you get your work done faster. So looking at just a few of the features we launched in 2020, some of these you may have heard about, some of these you may not have heard about. Video annotations is one of the features that we released. And basically, if you think about showing off your screen and highlighting things as you're explaining something, using CloudApp is obviously great, but if you really want to point something out and call it out more clearly, you can do that now instantly with video annotations. Another simple but powerful tool that we released is called a call to action button. So the idea here is you send a video and then you link to Calendly or Zoom or Jira or GitHub. And that way, as soon as somebody has viewed what you want to share and show, they can then look at the next step. You know, they can then accomplish the work that you are asking them to do. So another one is collaboration. This one is intended to be pretty lightweight. You know, we know that you're already using your favorite tools, and we don't want to necessarily become yet another one to have to communicate. But if you're looking to add some comments, if you're looking to communicate a little bit more, and even just give some reactive feedback, you can now do that in CloudApp right in line, right in your videos. So 2020, it's officially gone, and we're moving forward. We can all take like a deep breath, and hopefully we don't really have to talk about this year much more. But we've already done, as I mentioned, a lot to kick off the year in the first quarter, and we've still got a lot of great stuff planned. So let's talk about some of the upcoming product releases, as well as some of the things that we actually have ready for you today that we want to make available. And if you want to try it, we're going to make you know, betas available to you. So the first one is that CloudApp recently completed its SOC 2. A SOC 2 basically allows a company to say that we've gone through a bunch of reviews from a security and operations perspective to make sure that we're protecting you and the customers that we have and their data. So we're really excited about this one, and you know, we'll be able to send out soon a look into what this looks like. Another new integration that we recently enabled was Slack. So for a while, when you shared a video into Slack, you wouldn't necessarily be able to play your Slack video right away. You'd have to, you know, click the link, open it into your web browser, and then click play again. So, you know, sort of like multiple steps. Now you can just share it into a Slack channel, click play, and watch the video natively right away. We think this is a good example where we're focusing on your workflow rather than trying to bring you into ours. Another one that we just enabled, had just enabled yesterday, which has been amazing to work with both the Slack and the Atlassian team, is a new integration in Jira and Confluence. So now when you share a video, a link, an image into Confluence or Jira, you can select if you want to have it embedded and fully see and view the content. So this is a new and emerging product internally for CloudApp. Basically, what we've done over the last 6 months is look at the UI of our current product and do a lot of UX testing and look for opportunity and ways to simplify, to speed up, and to remove things that are either not as often used or that are slowing you down. So this is sort of still early in beta. We'd love to have anyone that's interested in trying it out. But the goal here is to make a faster, seamless, and great experience that looks amazing. Okay, and then let's see. The last one that I'll mention just briefly, and then Andrew is going to actually talk through it. Andrew, one of our product managers, is templates. So as I mentioned earlier, our goal is to help you be more productive, more effective in your workflow. And so what we are trying to do is enable specific parts of that workflow that align with what you do. So if you're in sales or engineering or product, or if you're a CEO making announcements, we're really excited kind of for the future of this product. We're going to release an early beta, and there's still a lot left to do. So we'd love your feedback, and anyone that wants to give it a try, we can do that. So I'll pass off my screen to Andrew, and thanks again for everyone for being here.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, so let me just share my screen real quick here. So this is a super awesome feature that we're excited to announce is templates. So as you can see right here, you've got your normal video view. So you created this video, let's say, and now you can see all these different options. And there is a lot of customability with CloudApp. Like Scott mentioned, we added CTAs, we have comments, you can add the collections. There's a lot of things you can do. And we wanted to speed up your workflow even more. We wanted to make doing all of the customizations that you do simple and effortless. So that's where templates come into play. So let's say I have this video here, and maybe I created it for a sales prospect. I'm in sales. Let's say I did that, and I can just click add apply template here, and then I've got a few options. And like Scott said, we'll be adding to it soon. And this kind of just the start. So you've got a few defaults here to work with. And so, like I mentioned, maybe this is a sales video, so I can click configure here. And then I got a few options. So I can change the name here, the default title. So maybe I don't want to send screen recording and the date to everybody. I want to make it a little bit more descriptive. So I can change it to, intro from CloudApp or intro from whatever company you want, or anything you would like here. And then security, since it's sales video, I can keep that as anyone can view, but I can change it to anybody in my organization if I want it to appear in the activity feed. I can change it to expire after a certain number of days or a certain number of views, and then I can turn on and off comments. I can add a button. So let's say with if you're in sales, you want people to book meetings with you. So a really powerful thing is a CTA at the end of your video to let people know what the next step they should take. And so I can, have book a meeting, put my calendar link in here, so that way they can immediately go in, schedule time with me, and we can kick things off that way. Next, you'll be able to automatically add to a collection, which is super helpful if you want to keep things organized. Maybe every time I send, a prospect video, or every time I create a bug report or a support response, I want to put those in a collection so I can refer to them later and have them in one place. So I can do that here. And then this link here goes to your branding customization settings too, because you can change your logo here and your URL and a few more things. So once I have everything that I want, I can just click save and apply, and boom, it's there. Book a meetings here. People can go to that. And next time I want to apply this template, it's just 2 clicks. I can click apply template and sales intro. And then if I want to configure other ones, I can configure those as well. So we're really hoping with templates that you'll be able to customize your workflow, customize your viewer pages even more, and make that as quick and effortless and easy as possible. And so, like I said, we'll be adding to this more. You'll be able to soon create your own custom templates. This kind of will provide a great jumping off point with the default templates. But then we want to take it a little bit further and let you have full control over what you can do. So we're really excited with templates, and we'll be rolling that out. I think Finn's going to cover that, but we'll be rolling that out shortly.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Sorry, I was muted. That was really great. I've been testing out templates for a little bit, and I'm really excited about the chance to save a lot of different things with marketing. We end up creating landing pages with a lot of our videos that we create. And so it makes it really easy to add those things for sales and marketing and product. Now I'm going to bring Finn up to talk a little bit. Finn is on our product team, and he's going to talk a little bit about the roadmap for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so thanks a lot. I really love, templates. I think I used it for the first time a few weeks ago. As a product person, I do a lot of, announcement, whether they're big or small. So it was really good and really satisfying to, for the first time, be able to set up my title, settings preferences, and everything I do pretty much daily and multiple times a day. It was really satisfying to be able to do it in 2 clicks. So everything we're announcing right now, there's a lot that has happened in the first half of 2021, but there is a lot more coming. Everything we're trying to solve, all the different workflows, all comes from the CloudApp community, actually. We have people from sales, people from support, everybody has their own specific workflow. And what we're trying to do really at CloudApp for the rest of the year and beyond is ensure that we fit with your workflow, that we're not in the way, and we really help you get work done faster and skip even more meetings. That is the true end goal. So there are 3 ways that we're trying to fix this problem. 1, speed. We really want to be inside your workflow. We don't want to be in the way. So some announcements like templates actually should help you save some time. Even if it's a few seconds a day, it's adding up. It also fits with the Lightning project, which Scott showed you an example of a bit earlier. We're simplifying the interfaces. If there's some clicks that are extra, let's work together. Let's try to remove them. If there's a part of your workflow that you think CloudApp is an impediment on, contact us, contact support. All the feedback goes back to the product team in the end, and we all take a look at it and reflect on pretty much every single piece of feedback. Second, ease of use. That goes a bit with the speed and trying to revamp a bit our interface for 2021. We're trying to remove extra clicks, extra overlays that may happen. And we just want to be top of mind, a few clicks or a shortcut. There's a lot of CloudApp users that actually only use shortcut, for example. So it's a really true part of their workflow, and they can get a lot of work done with only a few steps. Efficiency, there is two big topics that we want to try to cover in 2021. One being integrations. So Scott gave you a little sneak peek of Atlassian and Jira, which has been live for only a few days. But I already see in the stats, everybody pasting links, having embedded videos in there. I think this will be helpful for anyone working in support, anyone working in product. And we're actually working for the second half of the year on more integrations. So if you have ideas, feedback, we do a lot of different surveys with teams and enterprise customers. But if there is an integration that you think will change your life, post it in the chat, post it to feedback@cl.ly. We're really evaluating any integration that could help with your workflow. Templates also fits into the efficiency part. We want to remove from your workload all the redundant tasks you have to do every day. So I already see some feature requests in the chat. Thank you, keep them coming. Send them via email or the chat. So we'll also send a survey at the end of this event to give you access to the beta and the next steps. So how to access the CloudApp Lightning, which is that newer interface, and second, how to access templates, which we're really excited about.
Awesome. Thanks, Finn. Yeah, so there's a few things that you don't have to do anything to get immediate access to, like the integrations. If you haven't already tested out, paste a video or paste a screenshot, GIF, whatever in Slack, and you'll get a nice preview and then also be able to view it in there. Also check it out with Jira and Confluence. So thanks everyone, Finn and Scott, for kind of going over, and Andrew going over these new exciting announcements. And now we're going to get into how to actually use some of those, and also some of the most popular features that we get asked about. We'll have our product team, Finn, Andrew, and Savannah, go over how to use some features we get asked about a lot. If you have questions along the way, we will have a Q&A at the end of this tips and tricks section, but also feel free to drop those in, and Michael and others will be answering along the way, or inviting our product team to answer. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and let Finn share his screen, and we'll go over some of these tips and tricks.
All right, classic again, being muted while trying to talk. All right, so 2 features that I want to walk you through. If you've been attending our webinars in the first part of the year, you know, maybe it's a bit redundant, but there's, I'm sure, some tricks. We're in the tips and tricks section, so there's probably some questions that you may have. So one, analytics. So everybody, you know, you share content. It could be in Jira, it could be in Slack, it could be via email. You want to know what's happening with those links and those videos. So one feature that we released earlier this year is called Analytics. So as you can see here, this is a GIF of a new feature that we've released yesterday, which is blur on the web. So being able to pixelate or blur a specific part of your screenshot. I made a small GIF. I shared it in our internal Slack channel, and a few of my colleagues have viewed it. So 3, I can see their emails. I can see when they viewed it. And as an enterprise customer, I can also export the lists of those emails, probably reach out to them. If it's a lot more emails, I can probably automate it, put that list in customer.io or something, send a feedback survey. So how do you access analytics? First, you can go on any link on the right here. You should be able to see the number of views and also access view all analytics. Free plans only see the total count, but all paid plans can see the emails. You will see the emails in 2 occurrences. 1, if the user has a CloudApp account, or 2, if you set a specific permission where anyone, as long as they give their email address, can view. This is really useful because, for example, if you're sending a board deck, you want to send it over, have people, you know, enter their email, and then you will be able to, 1, get a notification as soon as they see it, and 2, be able to see that list at any time when they viewed it. This works for images, GIFs, videos, files. Pretty much anyone accessing your link will leave a little trace that where you will be able to get some info on. So I'm gonna show you here, for example, a video that I posted on Twitter a few weeks ago. I can see also when it's a video, the percentage viewed. This is really useful if, for example, you're someone from sales, you may do a pitch. Every single time you want to see if the customer actually saw it. We do it internally, you know, like we share some documentation and we verify a little bit that people, you know, went through the video, got it. And if they didn't, then, you know, we can follow up, ping them again. It's really useful to ensure that the content you're sharing is being viewed or has the impact you were expecting. So if I scroll through the list, if the person does not have a CloudApp account or did not enter their email, they will be considered an anonymous user, but you will still have access to the percentage viewed. This is close to real time, so you can refresh the page as the person views it, and you will see that number increment, which is pretty useful. Second feature that we released earlier this year is called the activity feed. So if you go on your dashboard and on the left section, you will see a new section called activity. Basically what this does is show you a little trail of every link you've viewed and everything that has been shared with you. So here, if I scroll through the list, I can see a bunch of different links that I watched. Everybody at CloudApp uses CloudApp. So if I want to go back to the document that Joe shared, I remember I clicked on it. I don't remember if it was shared on Slack via email. I can just go back to the activity feed, look at the different images, and go back to the document that Joe shared with me. The second aspect of this is seeing all the documents that have been shared with you. So here, for example, Savannah made a document public to the whole CloudApp organization, and I can see that it was shared by Savannah. Since she is in the same organization, I will see her name, her email, and if I look at it, I'll be able to comment on it. I have access to that document. The last aspect of this, so this is another account. I will just go through, you know, a video that I will share with my CloudApp account. So this has been shared. And it's, so every document shared with me, either via permission or directly to my email, will be shown in the activity feed. So this is really a great place of reference that you can go back to see all the different, you know, during your work there's a lot of documents that can come from different sources. And we use the activity feed a lot internally just to be able to see those documents. All right, thanks a lot. I'll stop sharing.
Awesome. Thank you, Finn. We did not have any questions about that along the way. So I am going to pass the time to Andrew.
Awesome. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about primarily, or the first one, is buttons or call to actions. So let's say that I created a video earlier kind of explaining what I was going to go through during this event. And I want to let people watch it, but then I also want somebody to take next steps. That's where buttons and CTAs are great. So I can just click here and go add button. So then you can see a preview right here. And I can say view slideshow. And then maybe I want to grab the link here from the slideshow, paste in the URL, and that way when they click on it, they'll be directed to the slideshow. And then I can also edit and change all of the colors, the text. You know, maybe I don't want it square, maybe I want it rounded. And then I can also have it appear either below the content or on hover or when the video ends. So when they finish playing the video, then is only when it shows up. Maybe you don't want to distract them with your CTA. Maybe I want it just below the content for now though. Then I can create the button and the button shows up here. Now this is great for a number of use cases. So, you know, in sales, like I kind of mentioned with templates already, maybe I want to have somebody schedule a meeting with me so I can drop, you know, a link in there that they can just go to schedule a meeting. Support, it's great to direct people to your overall help center, or maybe the specific help doc that you're talking about when you're solving somebody's issue, to make sure that they fully can go through and read that documentation to answer their questions. In engineering, we use it with bug reports all the time. If somebody has, you know, a bug that they've seen, they'll record a quick video about it, and then they'll drop in a CTA that actually goes to the ticket. So it's really linked up right there. I use it all the time. So I also do a lot of data analysis here at CloudApp. So a lot of times I'll use it for explaining, you know, the data that I've found, the analysis that I've done. I'll walk through it, and then I'll have a link to the full analysis. Not everybody needs that, but I want to make sure that it's available if they want it. So CTAs are a great way to get people kind of taking next steps after they view your content. The next thing I want to talk about here is web and video annotations. So I'll go through video annotations first. And we launched this last year, but so if I'm recording here, I'm going to turn my camera off because you can already see me. But as I'm recording, it'll count down here, and then I've got my video annotation menu right here. So I can click on that and I can see the tools here. So I can draw an arrow to wherever I want to. I can do lines, the pen tool, highlighter, and I can change the colors, and then I can also change the duration. So maybe I want it to only show up for a second. I can change it to.
Hey, Andrew, it's not showing what you're looking at.
Well, oh, maybe because I shared the wrong part of my screen. Let me go back here.
We see the CTA basically.
Oh, cool. Let me reshare. Oh, I didn't share my full screen. I just shared the window.
We should have made a bingo of all the
all the things. All right, now you should be able to see it.
And wrong screen.
I'll go back through that here. So as I'm starting recording, can you see this now?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So as I start the recording, I can see the video annotations menu here. So I can click that to turn it on. And then here are the list of tools. So I have arrow, line, pen, highlighter. I can draw an oval or a circle, and then a rectangle or a square, depending on math. But so, and then I can change the fill color and the duration. So I can change it between, forever, it'll just stay on the screen, 1 second or 4 seconds. So let's go with 1 second here. And then I can just kind of point out different things as I'm talking through it, and then it'll disappear, so that way people aren't lingering, focusing on that, and I could really use it to highlight my points. So that's video annotations, and it's a super great tool to be able to really communicate and get your point across. That way you don't have to sit there and like highlight things, with your cursor or anything anymore. You can just use video annotations to point arrows or highlight text as you're going through it. The next thing I want to quickly talk about is web annotations, and there's actually some really exciting things there. So I'm just going to take a quick screenshot here and open that up right here. Let me get the zoom menu a little bit out of the way. I know you can't see it, and so as I've got the screenshot here, I can click on annotate. And then I've got all of these different options like you do on your normal desktop app. We have them here. So I've got an arrow, highlighter, pen tool, and 2 awesome new things that were released just in the last week, and one yesterday is the crop tool, which I can just kind of go in here, and maybe I want to clean that selection up a little bit and just apply. It'll clean that up there. And then the blur tool. So maybe I don't want people to be able to read the text here, or maybe I accidentally captured some sensitive information or had to. Sometimes we have screenshots like that. I can add the blur tool, and that makes sure that anything sensitive stays like that. So that is web annotations. And the final piece that I want to talk about real quick is search. So if you're like me, you create a lot of content with CloudApp. I create, I think, like 20 or 30 videos or screenshots a day, and sometimes it's kind of hard to navigate through all that. So what I can do with search is I can just go in and go to my my dashboard here, or I can access it also from the viewer as well if I'm on that page. So I can click on there, and let's say I know, maybe I support the Windows side of things, so maybe somebody was asking me a question from our support team, and I want to search for hardware acceleration. I'll just autofill that, and then I can hit enter, and it'll find any video or screenshot or file that has hardware acceleration on there. And it looks like maybe because I'm sharing it's a little slow, but it'll pull it up, and oh, that's the one that I wanted. So then I can just go real quick and send that to whoever was asking for it. So search, again, makes it really easy to navigate through all of your content and make finding things as quick as possible after you've created it.
One question, Andrew, can a pre-recorded video be annotated?
Not right now, but that's definitely a great feature request, and it's something that, yeah, we can definitely consider adding in the future, because I definitely see the value in being able to annotate afterwards and not have to worry about doing everything at once.
Awesome.
You can become like a sports announcer where you're like drawing on game footage like Michael's always doing.
Exactly. Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. We use annotations all the time here internally, so hopefully that's a feature you all enjoy as well. Finish up with Savannah. Last but definitely not least, right?
Thanks so much, Joe. I'll go ahead and share my screen. So today we're going to go over a couple different things. We're really going to focus in on collaborating with other folks and doing so securely, as well as some new enterprise features that we have for our larger teams on our enterprise tier. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to start with collections. So for those of you who are not familiar with collections, they essentially act as little folders within CloudApp where you can put your drops. Your drops can belong to multiple folders or collections, and you can have these set to private so only you're seeing them, or you can actually share these with your team. There's a few different ways that you can go about making collections, but I'll show you here in the web first. Anytime you're signed into CloudApp, you'll see collections over here on the left-hand side. You can click this plus button to make a new one. I'll type in a new collection name. Let's do example for webinar. And I'll just select enter. When that's done loading, you're going to see that that was created successfully. So here's our new collection. You can see there's not currently drops in it. We can always add drops in here, which I'll show you in just a second as well. So if I go back to all of my files and I want to add any of these to a collection, I can click the little plus bar here to add to as many collections as I'd like. So maybe this belongs in the example for webinar as well as customer success or this client AMA project. Now, if I go back to my collection, you'll see that the drop lives here as well. So this makes it a little bit easier to organize my drops, but I can also grab the share link for my collections and send this out. So maybe I have several different documents, videos, different images that I need to send out with either a client or somebody in my team. I can just click this copy share link button and paste it on in. And now they would be able to see this collection as well. So right now, this is a private collection unless I send out the link itself. But if I did want to go about, allowing my teammates, for instance, to add to my collection, maybe I'm a support team and I want everybody adding in support-related videos, or I know a lot of times in our marketing team when we're working on a big campaign, everybody might add images and different assets over into a specific shared team collection. And it makes it a lot easier for everybody to work together just by contributing to one folder. So over here in the top right of any of my collections, we're going to see this little lock icon. This allows us to change the security settings for this particular collection. Right now it's set so I have to share out the link for somebody to view this, but I have other options, like I can password protect this particular folder if I'm going to send out the link. I can have it so others in my organization can view or they can edit. I can have it so other folks have to get their email address before they can view, or I can send it to specific viewers through their email address. If I want other folks in my team to be able to either see this or add to this collection with me, I would want to use this particular setting. Anyone can edit in your organization. Once I click save on this, everybody else in my team will also be able to see this collection. And when they go to add different files into collections, this little plus mark here, they will also see my example for webinar folder and they can add to it. They won't be able to delete anything or take anything you've added in. So you don't have to worry about anything like that. Really, it's just there for other folks to collaborate and add into your folders with you. And so there's a lot of different use cases for collections, whether you want to just make them for your own self-organizing, you want to send a collection of different assets to a client, or you want to work together as a team to create a library of videos, assets, or documents. This has a wide range of uses we've seen used in a lot of different types of teams. So that is collections. The next thing we'll go over, unless there's any questions, Joe.
Not related, so we'll just save those for the Q&A.
Okay, fantastic. We'll go over some new enterprise features that we have available. Keep in mind what I'm about to go over with this domain lockdown is available on our enterprise tier. So if you're a larger team or you're a team looking to increase your security here at CloudApp, we have this wonderful new feature. Let me come over here to my example team. So if you are an administrator of a team at CloudApp, you're probably pretty familiar with this page. If you're not, this is essentially our memberships panel. This is where folks can get invited to a team. This is where folks can get removed from teams. And we have a lot of different options here. But one of the things we've noticed as our teams has scaled is that when you have a few hundred users, or even really over like 20 or 30 users, trying to consolidate everybody, make sure everybody's in the team, trying to chase everybody down, it can get pretty tedious. And we want to make sure that it is as simple as a button click. So we have two new options over here to the right. First and foremost, if you have a specified domain, for instance, mine is cloudapp.com, you'll now see this list non-members user in this domain button. That means if anybody's ever signed up for CloudApp and you didn't invite them to your team, but they're part of your company domain, you'll now be able to click this and see anybody who maybe is kind of floating around outside of your account. So I have a lot of test accounts, as you can see. There's a lot of people I might want to pull into this account. Instead of having to invite them one by one or reaching out to support to try to get that done, we now have this big button here that says Enable Domain Lockdown. By clicking this button, it's going to pull in everybody who is currently a free user as a licensed but view-only member. We'll kind of talk a little bit more about what view-only users are a little bit later, but essentially what's really great is if I click this Enable Domain Lockdown, not only am I going to pull in everybody from my domain and make sure everybody's here, visible under the security settings I need them under, if we have a custom domain that everybody's creating under a custom domain, anybody who gets pulled in from this will be automatically pulled in as what's like essentially a free user, so you will not get charged for them right away. You can decide afterwards who you want to be a paid license member versus like a view-only member. So this really won't impact anything billing-wise. It gives you a lot of control, and it really essentially boils down to making sure that everybody in your domain is always in your account. You always have visibility to them. You can decide if you want them using CloudApp, if you want to disable them. You have control over their documents, and they always have to fall into your security settings that you have set as the administrator. So that is domain lockdown at its core. Currently, if you click this enable button, it might just take a couple hours to process, but we'll send you an email when it's done so that you know that everybody's in your account.
Awesome. Thank you, Savannah. I will go ahead and share my screen again.
Yeah.
So you are done. Okay. Great. So we are in the Q&A section. One question that someone asked is, can you change screenshot to be Control-C, Control-V? Savannah, Andrew, or Finn, you want to tackle settings?
All right, another bingo. Can you repeat that question? My audio cut out.
Yeah, so using Control-C or Control-V to take a screenshot. So basically customizing hotkeys for your settings.
Yes, definitely. So whether you're on Windows or Mac, you can do into the app's preferences, go to the shortcuts section, and you can customize them with, whichever shortcuts you would like. I heard, for example, of customers that had, mouse like these with like buttons on the side, and they would put, like make a shortcut, make a video, which I thought was pretty clever. But you can put pretty much any shortcut.
Awesome. The other one is when I'm doing a screen record, my microphone level is not only in CloudApp, is automatically muted. So how do you update that setting? Sounds like it's a universal type deal.
So I don't know, again, if it's Windows or Mac, but whenever you start a recording, let me share my screen for a second. Here, if I go onto CloudApp, let me close all Windows, and on the record, if you have your webcam on, we're actually automatically turning on your audio now. But if you see the little green microphone moving, that means your microphone is on. And that's a good check to do. I think we don't have yet, something telling you, by the way, your microphone is off, because a lot of other users would be annoyed. But by default, if you have a webcam, we turn your microphone on. And I would say just make sure that you get that little green microphone icon beforehand.
And he said he is on Windows. So is that a little different, Andrew, for Windows?
It's pretty similar. Right now on Windows, we don't automatically, when you have your webcam on, unmute it, but it's the same thing. You can see here, I can share my screen real quick, but it's very much the same idea. Here is when I click on CloudApp and record, I can select which microphones I want, and I can see that it's green. If it's not, then it's muted. Yeah, and if you need any more technical support with that, because sometimes there are some unique Windows issues with that, let me know and I can send you a few videos.
We also save the last preference that you've had. So if on your last recording you had a specific microphone, your microphone muted, and a webcam, the next time you make a video, we always try to keep you on those last settings. So that may help. It's probably also that your last recording did not have microphone on, but
Awesome. And then where is the area to create shortcuts? So can you just share your screen, Finn, and show the settings menu?
yes, definitely. So this is on Mac. I think and Andrew can check on Windows, but in preferences at the top here, you do have shortcuts. And you can see, take a screenshot and annotate. These are the default shortcuts, but if you click on it, you can just let's do Command G. And now Command G will start my screenshot software.
And it looks very similar on Windows. You would just select the right click on the logo in the CloudApp logo, and you'll see a settings section there. It's very similar to this.
Another tip that I think is relevant is if what you're trying to do is you take a screenshot and then you have it already in your pasteboard, the image in your pasteboard ready to put into a document. You can also change this setting here, which says content. So when a file is ready to share, copy the content to my clipboard. I will do a screenshot, and right away I will have the image or the video into my clipboard, so I can paste it in Jira or GitHub or wherever.
One question was on can you add an image to the background of the button? That was going back to the CTAs. There isn't a way to do that. There is not a way to do that. But if you have a specific kind of use case in mind, if you want to email us at feedback@getcloudup.com, we could, consider it and look into it.
Awesome. Well, that is all the questions. So thanks for everyone that was able to attend this first part of the CloudApp Remote. I'm going to take it from here for a little presentation on Remote Worker Bill of Rights. So I wanted to share with everyone some tips and tricks we've learned both as a company and also individually on how to kind of adjust to remote work, which may kind of be a hybrid future. This may be, a part of kind of everyone's life in the future. So hopefully this can be helpful in kind of just sharing some things that we've learned. So first of all, this was quarantine a year ago, day one for me. I cleaned up a spot in the basement away from the kid toys. I found this sweet little IKEA kid table chair and didn't have Legos and everything around it, and was able to kind of find a little bit of peace amongst the chaos. It wasn't great for my back, but it definitely improved over time, which I'll show you later on. Obviously, there's a learning curve. We all kind of figure things out along the way. Even seasoned remote workers started in a similar situation. I've managed a lot of remote teams, both at CloudApp and at Adobe before I came over here. And the nice thing is that CloudApp was really, we preach it all day long as a really a tool to help you with your remote work. And so we practice a lot of the usage anyway. So we send a lot of CloudApp videos, we skip meetings when we can. And, I kind of see the hybrid future of what's going to go on with future of work, but we're all kind of learning skills that will help us in the future. So getting on to some of the Bill of Rights. First Amendment is all remote workers shall have the right to take Zoom calls in the pajamas. A good example of children screaming and dog barking today in the background. and it's really kind of normalized working from home, which I appreciate as a father of 3 and a dog owner, that we no longer have those BBC moments where a few years ago that guy was on an interview with the BBC and he was trying to get his kids out of the interview. That would probably be normalized now. Like my kids join me on calls all the time, and same with Scott and Michael and Savannah and Finn's, dogs are always in the background. So it's really a great way that we've kind of all normalized and embraced the current situation. Number 2 is that you need to mute Slack between 6 p.m. and 9 a.m. When possible. Really, it's all about taking a break. So Scott mentioned earlier that it's petered off, but in the beginning we saw usage of CloudApp after hours just spike incredibly because there was this weirdness in that people were having to homeschool kids, or suddenly they're 3 or 4 people working in the same small apartment as roommates, or whatever kind of situation you may have been in. There were all these unique things where people weren't able to work 9 to 5. They had to work 8 to 10 and then take a little break to do something else, or maybe Wi-Fi cut out and they couldn't work. So try and find ways to really get a break. I put Seinfeld over here because my wife and I watched Seinfeld on Hulu. Is foundational piece of my adolescence, and so we watched it over, and it was a nice escape between 6 and 9 a.m. Number 3 is that we should all have the right to deep work instead of conversations about the bachelor by the water cooler. So one advantage of remote work is that you don't necessarily have chatty coworkers coming by and maybe taking you away from what you're working on. So I don't know about anyone else, but sometimes it can take me 30, 45 minutes to really get in a groove with a project that I'm working on. And so really focusing and turning things out and blocking out my calendar has been a skill that I've learned in remote work. And we also found that in a survey we did before all of this, that chatty coworkers were the #1 distraction for people in the office. So we've all built some skills when we go back to partial office settings that we can figure out ways to find ways to do deep work, or maybe schedule those days to work at home when we really need to focus on a project. Number 4 is all remote workers shall have the right to be acknowledged during meetings. So virtual meetings can be challenging. It's similar to in-person meetings where you may have certain people who dominate specific parts of a meeting. And if you were kind of passive in a live environment, you may be even more passive in a virtual environment. One thing I've found that is helpful is to write down notes of what I want to say before going into a meeting. And I'll kind of go through those things. That's kind of a tool or skill that I learned a long time ago from a mentor of mine. And it's been really helpful in making sure that things that I want to say about certain topics are acknowledged and kind of broken down. Number 5 is all remote workers shall have the right to shower every day. I know early on in social media land with all of this, there's so many memes and other things going on about people, taking, maybe not having the same routine they had prior to things being shut down and being remote. But just like my kids have the same kind of schedule every day, and it helps them know what to expect. Adults are the same way. There's a lot of studies out there that it's helpful for your brain to know what to expect in the morning and to have a routine to get you ready. So for me, part of that for me is showering and getting dressed. out of my sweats or, or pajamas. Some people might be able to, you know, stay in their pajamas for 3 or 4 days and be just fine. But it's kind of all about customizing and figuring out what works for you and what's going to help you be most successful. Number 6, definitely the right to multitask and walk dogs in between calls. This is where I live here in Utah, park pretty close to my house. Walking meetings has been one of the things I've discovered that and have absolutely loved the most. There's actually some great apps out there too that will like record your walking meeting and even transcribe notes along the way. It's cool how tech kind of pops up when there's a need. But get out of the house and take breaks, get some fresh air. Spring, summer, and fall, you know, are great times to do that if you're in a wintry climate like I am. But getting out really helps me, and maybe is something I didn't necessarily do enough of when I was in office. So that's something I'll also take back with me in the future hybrid world. Number 7, all remote workers should have the right to social distancing. So this was early on with everything, but we had this text thread with my siblings. I have 5 siblings, 6 of us total, and then my parents. And I found this picture of my brother where he had this, you know, rooster tail in the back there, and thought it would be funny to send that to them. So it's been a unique experience to connect with people, friends and family, definitely talking a lot more than we necessarily did before. And so that's a nice opportunity to make sure that you're staying connected and networking with close friends, colleagues, and family. The right to skip the handshake and send a CloudApp video instead. So we've talked about CloudApp obviously a lot today, but there's a lot of other great tools that you need to use, or not need to, but can use to help you and help make things a little bit better. So definitely look for technology to ease yourself into the remote work world and find ways to improve whatever you're working on now. I included a few here that we use pretty aggressively here at CloudApp with Asana, CloudApp Zoom, Slack, and G Suite. All collaborative tools, all really helpful in managing our teams. All remote workers shall have the right to be audio only or hide themselves during a meeting. So we do a lot of Zoom meetings and all hands here at CloudApp. And I think it's key to know that you don't always have to be have your face showing. Some of my favorite meetings now are just a phone call, like with the way things used to be. So video doesn't always have to be the primary one. And we also included this Zoom Go, which is bingo, as a way of kind of a fun game we played early on. And we did a lot of team lunches early on to help us all kind of adjust to kind of the circumstances. I love remote virtual backgrounds. Andrew is a pro at those as well. He's always doing like roller coaster GIFs or golf GIFs behind him, which is always pretty fun. And it's just a unique way to show your personality with your team. In these types of situations, I'm definitely more like real and not virtual background. But with my team and internally, you know, I'd like to have some fun with it. So, you know, use those if you need it. That's what they're there for. So as we kind of close things up with some remote worker Bill of Rights, I wanted to share with you just kind of some final tips. Definitely forget how you used to work. Obviously, find a routine that works. Get out of your space, connect with others, use tools to collaborate and organize, and then try to improve each day. Those things have all been helpful for me and for our company and team as we've adjusted to kind of how the new normal and future work may look. And this was day 27. So I went and got a desk from our office and got a little bit nicer setup than that little IKEA table. So it's been a little bit better, and also, you know, a lot nicer to be able to have that time and kind of figure out how to work effectively. Awesome. Thank you all for coming to the first CloudApp Remote. It's been really fun to use this kind of platform to share all these product updates with you guys, to kind of share a little bit of a keynote style presentation, to have our product team go over some of these great new features and how to use some common things as well. Looks like we do have one more thing with a question. So, issue with recording webinars that are longer than 60 minutes. That might be a good question for our support team, just to match up whatever plan you're on and product or Mac or Win that you're on, Ms. So if you want to reach out to support@getcloudup.com, they can help you kind of get that in order. But yeah, thank you all for coming, and thanks Finn, Michael, Savannah, Andrew, Scott. It was really fun to kind of interact with our community, and hope that you enjoyed and learned a lot from what we had to share today.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, everyone.